100th season of the National Football League. Tonight is not about the
NFL is a professional American football league. The league's first season was in 1920, and with its commissioner being Roger Goodell, and has a total of 32 teams. And to this very day, the league is still alive and healthy. So, how did it become so popular? Let's find out. Founding and history. On August 20th, 1920, a meeting was held by representatives of the Akron Pros, Canton Bulldogs, Cleveland Indians, and Dayton Triangles at the Jordan and Mobile Auto Showroom in Canton, Ohio. This meeting resulted in the formation of the American Professional Football Conference, also known as APFC, a group who, according to the Canton Evening Respiratory, intended to raise a standard of professional football in every way possible, to eliminate bidding for players between rival clubs, and to secure cooperation in the formation of schedules. A second meeting was held on September 17, 1920, with representatives from teams within 4 states: Akron, Canton, Cleveland, and Dayton from Ohio, the Hammond Pros and Munis Flyers from Indiana, the Rochester Jeffersons from New York, and the Rock Island Independients, Dectars Stallies, and Racine Chicago Cardinals from Illinois. The league was renamed to the American Professional Football Association, also known as APFA. The league elected Jim Thorpe as its first president and consisted of 14 teams: the Buffalo All-Americans, Chicago Tigers, Columbia's Panhandles, and Detroit Heralds joined the league during the year. The Massillon Tigers from Massillon, Ohio was also at the September 17th meeting, but did not field a team in 1920. Only 2 of these teams, the Dectars Stallies, now the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Cardinals, now the Arizona Cardinals, remain in the NFL. Although the league did not maintain official standings for its 1920 inaugural season, and teams played schedules that included non-league opponents, the APFA awarded the Akron Pros the championship by virtue of their 8-0-3 record. The first event occurred on September 26, 1920, when the Rock Island Independents defeated the non-league St. Paul Ideals 48-0 at Douglas Park. On October 3, 1920, the first full week of league play occurred. The following season resulted in the Chicago Stallies controversially winning the title over the Buffalo All-Americans. On June 24, 1922, the APFA changed its name to the National Football League, NFL. In 1932, the season ended with the Chicago Bears 6-1-6 and the Portsmouth Spartans 6-1-4 tied for the first league standings. At the time, teams were ranked on a single table, and the team with the highest winning percentage, not including ties, which were not counted towards the standings, at the end of the season was declared the champion. The only tiebreaker was that in the event of a tie, if 2 teams played twice in a season, the result of the second game determined the title, the source of the 1921 controversy. This method had been used since the league's creation in 1920, but no situation had been encountered where 2 teams were tied for first. The league quickly determined that a playoff game between Chicago and Portsmouth was needed to decide the league's champion. The teams were originally scheduled to play the playoff game, officially a regular season game that would count towards the regular season standings, at Wrigley Field in Chicago, but a combination of heavy snow and extreme cold forced the game to be moved indoors to the Chicago Stadium, which did not have a regulation-sized football field. Playing with altered rules to accommodate the smaller playing field, the Bears won game 9-0 and thus won the championship. Fan interest in the de facto championship game led the NFL beginning in 1933 to split into two divisions, with championship game to be played between the division champions. The 1934 season also marked the first of 12 seasons which African Americans were absent from the league. The de facto ban was rescinded in 1946, following public pressure and coinciding with the removal of a similar ban in Major League Baseball. The NFL was always the largest professional football league in the United States. It nevertheless faced numerous rival professional leagues through the 1930s and 1940s. Rival leagues included at least 3 separate American football leagues and the All-America Football Conference, also known as AAFC, on top of various regional leagues of varying caliber. 3 NFL teams trace their histories to these rival leagues. The Los Angeles Rams, who came from a 1936 iteration of the American Football League, and the Cleveland Browns and San Francisco 49ers, both from the AAFC. By the 1950s, the NFL had an effective monopoly on professional football in the United States. Its only competition in North America was the professional Canadian football circuit, which formally became the Canadian Football League, also known as CFL, in 1958. With Canadian football being a different football code than the American game, the CFL established a niche market in Canada and still survives as an independent league. A new professional league, the Fourth American Football League, also known as AFL, began to play in 1960. The upstart AFL began to challenge the established NFL popularity, gaining lucrative television contracts and engaging in a bidding war with the NFL for free agents and draft picks. The two leagues announced a merger on June 8, 1966, to take full effect in 1970. In the meantime, the leagues would hold a common draft and championship game. The game, the Super Bowl, was held 4 times before the merger, with the NFL standing Super Bowl I and Super Bowl II, and the AFL winning Super Bowl III and Super Bowl IV. After the league merged, it was reorganized into 2 conferences. The National Football Conference, also known as NFC, consisting of most of the pre-merger NFL teams, and the American Football Conference, also known as AFC, consisting of all of the AFL teams, as well as the 3 pre-merger NFL teams. Today, the NFL is the most popular sports league in North America, with much of the league's growth and popularity attributable to the former commissioner Pete Rozelle, who led the league from 1960 to 1989. Overall annual attendance increased from 3 million at the beginning of his tenure to 17 million at the end of his tenure, and 400 million global viewers watched 1989's Super Bowl XXIII. The NFL established NFL properties in 1963. The league's licensing wing, NFL Properties, earns the league billions of dollars annually. Rozelle's tenure also marked the curation of the NFL charities and a national partnership with United Way. Paul Tagliabue was elected as commissioner to succeed Rozelle. His 17-year tenure, which ended in 2006, was marked by large increases in television contracts and the addition of 4 expansion teams, as well as the introduction of league initiatives to increase the number of minorities in league and team management roles. The league's current commissioner, Roger Goodell, has focused on reducing the number of illegal hits and making the sport safer, mainly through fining or suspending players who break rules. These actions are among many the NFL is taking to reduce concussions and improve proper safety. Prior to 2021, the NFL had utilized race-based adjustments of dementia claims in the $1 billion settlement of concussion claims, which had been criticized by critics before the NFL decided to end what was called race norming. On May 21, 2024, the NFL announced the NFL Source Initiative, aimed at increasing the number of minority and women-owned businesses that work with the league throughout the year. NFL stores will be mandatory for teams that host major events, such as the Super Bowl and the NFL Draft, and their organizing committees, but will be optional for other contracts at the team level. The NFL will partner with the U.S. Black Chambers Incorporated to help local businesses across the country obtain the certifications necessary to do business with the league in furtherance of its efforts to increase partnerships with certified and underrepresented businesses that are 51% owned and operated or led by a veteran, woman, minority, person with disabilities, or LGBTQ+. In 2015, a class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of the NFL Sunday Ticket subscribers, alleging that the NFL, its member teams, its broadcast partners, DirecTV, engaged in a conspiracy to violate antitrust laws by granting DirecTV exclusive rights to sell the Sunday Ticket product, thereby restricting competition and forcing viewers to pay super competitive prices to view out-of-market games. On June 27, 2024, a jury in Los Angeles found that the NFL had violated antitrust law in setting the price of the Sunday Ticket package and ordered a penalty totaling more than $4.7 billion. With triple damages allowed under federal antitrust laws, the NFL could ultimately be liable for $14.39 billion. The league said it would ask the judge to set the verdict aside, then appeal the verdict if needed. Season and playoff development. From 1920 to 1934, the NFL did not have a set number of games for teams to play, instead setting a minimum. The league mandated a 12-game regular season for each team beginning in 1935, later shortening this to 11 games in 1937 and 10 games in 1943, mainly due to World War II. After the war ended, the number of games returned to 11 games in 1946, and later back to 12 games in 1947. The NFL went to a 14-game schedule in 1961, which retained until switching to a 16-game schedule in 1978. In March 2021, the NFL officially adopted a 17-game schedule after gaining the agreement of the National Football League Players Association, which can be abbreviated as NFLPA. Having an odd number of games in the schedule will give half the teams 9 games as the home team, while half the teams have only 8 home games. To minimize the perceived benefit of competition of having more home games, the extra home game will be rotated between 2 conferences each year. This is because playoff berths are allocated at the conference level, so all teams within the conference will have played the same number of home games. The NFL operated a 2-conference system from 1933 to 1966, where the champions of each conference would meet the NFL championship game. If 2 teams tied for the conference lead, they would meet in a 1-game playoff to determine the conference champion. In 1967, the NFL expanded from 15 games to 15 teams to 16 teams. Instead of just evening out of the conferences by adding the expansion New Orleans Saints to the 7-member Western Conference, the NFL realigned the conferences and split each into 2 4-team divisions. The 4 division champions would meet in the NFL playoffs, a 2-round playoff. The NFL also operated the Playoff Bowl, officially the Burt Bell Benefit Bowl, from 1960 to 1969. Effectively a third-place game pitting the 2 conference runners-up against each other, the league considers playoff bowls to have been exhibitions rather than playoff games. The league discontinued the Playoff Bowl. The league discontinued the Playoff Bowl in 1970 due to its perception as a game for losers. Following the addition of the former AFL teams into the NFL in 1970, the NFL split into 2 conferences with 3 divisions each. The expanded league, now with 26 teams, would also feature an expanded 8-team playoff, with the participants being the 3 division champions from each conference, as well as 1 wildcard team, the team with the best win percentage that did not win its division from each conference. In 1978, the league added a second wildcard team from each conference, bringing the total number of playoff teams to 10, and a further 2 wildcard teams were added in 1990 to bring the total 12. When the NFL expanded to 32 teams in 2002, the league realigned, changing the division structure from 3 divisions in each conference to 4 divisions in each conference. As each division champion gets a playoff bid, the number of wildcard teams from each conference dropped from 3 to 2. The 2 playoffs expanded again in 2020, adding 2 more wildcard teams to bring the total to 14 playoff teams. And there's the history of NFL. How did it become so popular? Well, I think with football being such a popular sport and there being a huge fan base for the sport, I think that's how they became very popular. And also with all the teams that they have gathered under their umbrella and all the teams that they've played against and all the football leagues that they've played against as well, I think that's how they became very popular. But anyways, with all that being said, I think that's where I'm going to end off this video. If you guys haven't enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button. And also don't forget to subscribe, because I try to do videos every single day. I know that I've been a little bit far behind on making videos lately, but I am trying to get back into them. And I do have a lot of videos that are coming out that I can't wait to show you guys. Also, don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell on my other 2 channels as well, including Exotic Game Walkthroughs, where I do walkthrough videos for you guys, and Dance Plays, where I upload the RMVs with the swearing in them, and some exclusive content on there for you guys as well. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!